Life is like an ever-shifting kaleidoscope. A slight change and all patterns alter.
Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack No.17, the introduction. My name is Rick, and I'm joined with Maria.
Hi.
And Molly.
Hey, guys.
So let's learn a little bit about this project pack.
If we step back and look at our lives, one might say that our journey through life is similar. We lay down one day at a time, locked together with a series of days. We experience one memory at a time, attached to a series of memories. The same goes for celebrations, challenges, accomplishments, friendships, and so on. All these components of our lives are strung together to form ever-changing patterns, ultimately forming a work of art we call life. What is remarkable about the art of life is that it is constantly changing. Much like what you see when you look through a kaleidoscope, none of it stays the same. It's an ever-changing display of beauty flashing before our eyes. A kaleidoscope is an instrument that has tiny pieces of glass or plastic encased between flat pieces of clear glass and mirrors that are specifically arranged so that the small pieces of colored glass or plastic reflect and create beautiful, unexpected patterns. As the bits of colored glass move, so do the patterns, never duplicating the same pattern twice, ever. The kaleidoscope was invented by David Brewster in 1817. He named his invention using the Greek word kalos, meaning beautiful, and the Greek word eidos, meaning shape. What a perfect name. One could use this pairing of words to describe much of the art we create using the Zentangle method. Project Pack 17 is inspired by the kaleidoscope of our lives. We will honor the artistry of the patterns they form as they pair and layer with others to form new patterns and create works of art. Taking advantage of the geometric shapes of the tiles, we will gradually guide you through adding tangles to the tiles and watch how they interact with other tiles to create meta patterns that change as you rearrange the tiles, like a kaleidoscope. We will explore a fun selection of tools that allow us to dig deep into the layering shades of gray with accents of jewel tones.
Wow. Mom.
So are
How
you all ready for this?
Kaleidoscopes. So this project pack really just came together and was first inspired by our 3Z tiles. So I have a project pack 17 here, and we have taken some of the materials out to take a look at what we have to work with here. And we have some really cool tools. We have our black micron, kind of our staple, which we always have. And then we have some cool new pens from Sakura, these gray tones, a lighter gray and a darker gray. And then we're going to throw in some pastel chalk pencils from Generals, which I think will really bring that whole kaleidoscope thing in, and some other graphite and some tortillons. And then we have our 3Z tiles we're going to be working with here. And I pulled out a sampling of 6 of the different pre-strung tiles we offer, although in every project pack you will only have 3 of these.
Right. And you're going to have different ones, and you're going to have different colors, too, of the pencils?
That's correct.
Right.
So everybody has 2 pencils, but you could have a green one and a purple one or a red one.
Right.
And you never know. So we really wanted to make this so that everybody's art that they created was a little bit different, just like a kaleidoscope.
Just like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah. And what a cool metaphor, right, Rick?
Right.
I mean, I know you like a good metaphor, but I was so thrilled to learn what the word kaleidoscope meant. How
We love looking up words and making up words. So
right. And
sort of like Zen and Tangle.
Yes.
Right. And what is really cool about this particular project pack is we wanted it to be interactive. So as we start layering and creating with these different tiles and filling them in, we'll be able to move them in different ways to create mosaics that create different images, just like a mosaic. So that's really cool. We actually grabbed a couple of kaleidoscopes that we had here in the house just for fun, just to play around with how kaleidoscoping images work. And I feel like once we dig into this and start creating, you guys are going to be thrilled to see, you know.
Right. And this is a real invitation to do things that are different from us, because just like in a kaleidoscope, you can never arrange it to create the same image, like, oh, look at this, and then it moves and you can never get it back. So we expect that you're going to be adding to this beautiful kaleidoscope in ways and with materials that we're not even using. So we're excited.
And I think another thing I want to just say right now is that we're going to be approaching this project pack a little bit different than some of the previous ones, where we're going to be sort of chipping away at one sort of this kaleidoscope project. So one day we'll be doing a little bit on a couple of tiles. The next day we'll be doing a little bit on some other tiles, and then we'll come back and revisit some of the tiles we've already tangled. So this project pack is sequential. So you're really going to want to start with day one and then follow with the days that come after it. You can't really skip around.
And we also have at the end of this video some information. Just, a lot of times people aren't able to get the project pack, and we want to create a way that you can all play along with us. So just stay tuned for the alternate in case you did not get the project pack.
I think that's pretty good. I think we're ready to have Maria show us how to do that.
Okay, so stay tuned for what's next. So for all of you who weren't able to get a project pack, we still want you to be able to experience this whole process with it. And Maria's going to walk you through an alternate option here.
Hi, guys. So when we were doing this project, I'm thinking, oh, it's so exciting. We need to be able to include everybody in this. So I'm going to be working on an opus tile, which is about 10.5 to 11 inches square, but you can work on any paper you want. This worked out good for me. And we're going to start with a pencil, and we're going to do a string that it will enable you to exactly pretty much do what we're doing.
Right, because we counted out all the spaces in the project pack, and there's what, 72?
72 spaces,
72.
and we're going to give you 72 spaces in this string. So I start out pretty much in the middle, but a little to the side is okay. And the circle here is about, I think, at about 1 3/4 inches. I think, did I measure it? Yeah,
let's see.
about 1 3/4 inches. And
but, just
about,
ish.
yeah, ish
one
is
of
good.
our categories of measurement.
So we're going to separate the circle into 4. You know how we can do that, right? And it's not a perfect separation. And we're going to do it again and to separate this into 8s. Again, lightly.
And this paper is the same paper as regular white tiles.
Right. So we're going to draw lightly, but soon we're going to draw a little bit heavier. So we're going to do some triangles with these markings here. Pretty easy, like an equilateral triangle.
Just sort of each one pointing as if it was pointing away from the center there.
Right. Almost like a sun, right?
Like sun rays.
Sun rays.
Or flower petals, sunflower petals.
Right. So we'll end up with 8 triangles here.
And in this process, you're also going to be learning a new tangle. So this
is a tangle called
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher by one of our CZTs named Daniel. And he was one of our younger CZTs, right? And it's such an elegant tangle. It's beautiful. I love it. We're going to be drawing another set of lines that extend with that same curve. You wouldn't think that that's a curve, but there's a curve coming off the sides of those initial triangles. So if you kind of go with that.
And They're all sort of the same size, but if you've ever made a dream catcher, it starts from the outside and comes in, but with the Zentangle dream catcher, it starts from the inside and goes out.
Right. So now, look, I'm going to get rid of those lines in the middle. You can see that you can either do that with a tortillon
Or your finger
or
tortillon.
your finger. What it is, why I'm doing that is because I'm wanting you to save that initial sun shape, and we're not going to tangle in that. That's not going to be part of the 72 spaces. I'm going to save that for you guys to add your own personal situation here,
Right.
your own tangle that you love so much, or maybe an illuminated letter, or whatever you would like to put in there to make it just yours.
But look at how wonderful it is that you can just pull that, and it wasn't that much graphite on that side, and just bringing
Right.
it all in, and all of those other lines. There's no eraser in Zentangle, but you can sure move the graphite around.
One of the reasons for this is because those initial triangles were too small to tangle in,
Right.
and they wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been a good thing for you to do. And that circle in the middle, I thought, was like a sacred space, and
Right.
each person gets to do their own thing here. So now we're going to continue with these rays.
Maybe a little rounding.
A little rounding here just to give it some character. I like to add character to things as we're going along. We're going to extend these again. And you can see how they're starting to curve and have this beautiful, wonderful shape unexpectedly.
Right, so she's just following. It's sort of like extending the natural curve out, like these beautiful, like lotus petals.
Right. How pretty is that? Now we're going to separate those in half and make 2 triangles out of those.
On this last round, but the first round were small
Yeah,
enough.
the first round, just leave those. They're sort of a odd square shape.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're going to do another round of these beautiful petal shapes. They're going to get bigger each time and separate it in half. How pretty is it already?
Right.
Loving these strokes.
So it's very fractal in the sense that it just keeps growing and growing, and they're getting larger, but the shape is the same. So one row, and exactly, or not exactly, but just following that curve, and they don't have to be exactly the same size.
In fact, I find that they're much more pleasing when they're not exactly the same size.
Well, it's sort of like any petal on a flower. They're similar, but none are identical to the others.
Okay, so that round is done. And we're going to do one more round and of continuing that shape and then separating them in half.
So if you went like a little off center like this one was, well, just let it go off the page.
Yep, I'm happy with that. And when you see after this is done, you're just going to just be
Right.
amazed at how beautiful it is.
And it's so funny because we were thinking like Maria, we were saying so that everybody could join in, and this ended up being like a really beautiful, beautiful piece.
Right.
And you'll get it as we go through the whole Project Pack series here.
In fact, if you bought the project pack, you may want to do this too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to want to do this. So once this is done, it's I think 4 cycles of these rows after the initial
4 times 16 plus 8, I think, and it's
right,
72.
and it's 72. So
Here we go.
we're ready. So
We're ready to go.
let's get started, and thanks for playing along.
Bye.
Bye now.